Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be filming part 3 of my book tour. The first video was recorded, I want to say almost a month ago now. I think it was 3-4 weeks ago, something like that. And I've gotten new books in the meantime, so I should probably go through my new books. And then I'm going to go through the side here. And I'm going to go through my sister's bookshelf because you guys have not seen that yet. So yeah, let's just jump into the video then. First of all, look at this. I found this yesterday because we took a trip to the city and of course I bought books. And look at it. Look at it. Once Upon a Broken Heart. I didn't even know that you could find editions like this in Norway. I had no clue. And there was one there. So of course I had to take it. Look at this. Beautiful. My phone isn't even doing it justice. It's actually gorgeous. I know that they just came out with a blue version as well. And I personally like the blue one more, like the baby blue one, but this one is still gorgeous. I love this one as well. I love all the editions of Once Upon a Broken Heart is beautiful. I went through this book in my first video though, so there's no point in dragging that on anymore. Then I got these Hollow Vows. This is not the cover I've been seeing in Norway, so when I saw that they had one book with this edition, I knew I had to get it. And yeah. It's fantasy, that I know. Here's the back. I don't know anything about this, so let's go check out the first line together. Oh, here's the map. Cool shadows wash over my sweaty skin, welcoming me, disguising me. Boom. It's Hollow Vows. Next up, I got the first Percy Jackson book. And I'm kind of pissed because I randomly have the third Percy Jackson book here. But I don't have the first two, so I couldn't exactly jump to the third one. I don't know why I have it. I have no memory of getting it or buying it. It's just kind of there. And pretty sure this is the 2008 edition. So I can't find these covers anymore. This is the 2020 edition. So all the Percy Jackson books in the series look like this. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. But yeah, it's time for me to finally get into Percy Jackson. It's just one of the must-read books. If you're into books, especially fantasy, you have to read it. It's like Harry Potter, you just have to. So yeah, everyone knows what this is about, so I don't think I have to tell you guys anything about it. But this is the beginning, right? Yeah. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. Boom. So yeah, next up I got the two last books in the selection series. It pisses me off that this one has a blue font. I don't know why they would do that. But anyway, yeah, I went through this in my last video, I think. So no, not really any point in going through it. Still haven't gotten my, oh my god, what is it called? Raven Cycle books. I'm missing the 3 others in the series because this is the second one. So I think they're just gone. And yeah, those were the books that I got. Let's go through the bottom books now. First up is the Michael Bay series. There's 7 books. Here's the first one. I don't have the energy to take them all out. Yeah, these were the first books that I ever read. I got the first 3 books when, or I guess when I was in middle school. Read them then, didn't have the rest, so I just never continued it. So when I got back into books, like 2 or 3 years ago, I decided to buy the entire series. I read it, I loved it. It kind of feels like Percy Jackson and Harry Potter and like books like that, because it's a group of kids that are saving the world, I guess. I don't know. It kind of gives off the same feel as like Percy Jackson and Harry Potter and stuff to me. But yeah, it's more sci-fi. It's about a group of kids with like different electric powers, and the antagonist is, you know, trying to get their hands on these electric kids and use them for whatever reasons. But yeah, there's a lot of books, but none of them ever go over 400 pages. I think a lot of them are barely 300, so yeah, still an easy read. Next up is my Stephen King collection. I got The Shining for Christmas, like not last year, but the year before that, I believe. Have not read it yet. I'm saving it for Halloween. But yeah, here's the back if you want to read about it. I think this is a story that everyone knows. I haven't read it, but I believe, I haven't seen the movie either, so I don't actually really know what it's about, but I think it has something to do with this guy, this like writer who goes to this hotel, turns out to be haunted or something, and then there's this kid that like sees ghosts or something. I don't know. That's what I've gathered from it, but don't take my word for it. Next up is It. This was actually, other than Michael Vey, this was actually the first book that I read. I didn't finish it. I mean, I had finished it, but I read like 200 or 300 pages, and then I went on to 2 other books, I think, and then I came back and finished this. So, yeah. It's horror. I think everyone knows the story. Here's the back if you want to read about it. In this town, kids keep disappearing, and then their corpses are showing up again, and they're all mutilated, and they can't figure out why all these kids are going missing. They can't figure out who's doing it, why it's happening, and blah blah blah. And when the main character's brother ends up being one of those kids that goes missing and shows up dead, then he and his group of friends, they decide to figure out what's going on and put a stop to it. So yeah, it's horror. Let's go check out the first line. Also, this book has been through some shit. Pages are yellow. The first part here is like taped in because it was falling out. Yeah, it's dirty. It's been through some stuff. Also, I cannot believe that I read this, okay? This is a huge flex. This is one of the first books I ever read. Why? Why do I hate myself? I should not have made myself read this. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? It's like, I believe it's like 1,300 pages long. And his writing is impossible. I don't know why Stephen King would write a book like this. Because it was so difficult to get through. You know what? Kudos to me for actually finishing this. I am so proud of myself. Like, words can't hurt me. I've read this big chunker. Or these words did kind of hurt me, but like, yeah. Also, read the trigger warnings before you guys read this book, because Stephen King definitely has a very like messed up mind, and the sewer scene is like just stuck in my brain, and I wish I could forget it. So, just a little heads up. The terror, which would not end for another 28 years if it ever did end, began, so far as I know or can tell, with a boat made from a sheet of newspaper floating down a gutter swollen with rain. Next up is Pet Sematary. This, I believe, was the book that I read when I needed a break from it. So yeah, still one of the first books that I ever read. Here's the back if you want to pause and read. It's about this cemetery where whatever's buried there will come back to life. So, yeah, horror again, so you can imagine what goes on in this book. It's very sad, though. If you're a parent, don't read this book. I wouldn't recommend it. I thought it was tough, and I'm not a parent. And I think Stephen King even said, like, in this little note in the beginning here, that this was a book that kind of, like, just laid in his shelf, or in his drawer for the longest time, because he just thought it was too dark for the world. And, yeah, it's not scary. It's more, like, sad and disturbing, if you ask me. So, yeah, check out the first line. Lewis Creed, who had lost his father at 3 and who had never known a grandfather, never expected to find a father as he entered his middle age, but that was exactly what happened. Although he called this man a friend, as a grown man must do when he finds the man who should have been his father relatively late in life. Yeah, there's definitely a wholesome relationship in here, so as you can tell, that whole father thing. Anyway, next up is Misery. I have not read this book. I have no memory. I know I didn't buy it. I know it was never given to me. I just found it in this house, so I don't know whose it actually is, but, my parents told me I could just take it, so, it's mine now. Yeah, here's the back. Wait, if it ever focuses. I have not read this book. I don't really know what it's about, but as you can tell, it's about a writer of sorts. And lastly, The Stand. This, I feel like I have now read the best Stephen King book. Of course, I've only read 3, but this one. I truly believe this is the best Stephen King book written. I feel like there's not even any point in me reading the other ones because I've already found the best one. Nothing can ever top this. I don't know what came first, if I read Pet Sematary or The Stand first. I want to say Pet Sematary, actually. So yeah, before I went back to It, I read this book as well. So Pet Sematary, or I started on It, then Pet Sematary, then The Stand, and then went back to It. And then I continued with, like, fantasy books and stuff. So yeah, this is one of the first books I ever read. Again, I don't know why I picked up these huge fucking books and thought, me as a beginner reader, like, yes, I will definitely get through this. I did, and I'm proud of myself for getting through it, because not a lot of people or at least like amateur readers, you know, looks at a book this size and thinks, that's fine. But yeah, this is amazing. Here's the back if you want to read about it. This book has also been through some stuff, as you can tell. But I mean, that's what happens when you read a book for like 6 months. This is an apocalyptic, like dystopian story. It's sort of divided into 3 parts. In the first part, basically, there's this epidemic that hits, and it has 97% like mortality rate. So only 3% of Americans survive. So we're reading about, you know, the last people standing, and they start having dreams, and they start having one of 2 different dreams. So you either dream about this old lady who's telling you to travel, I believe it's east, but I don't know, it's in one direction at least, and other people dream about this man who's telling them to go in the opposite direction. So then the second part is kind of like the traveling, and this book is supposed to be, or it's called The Stand because it's like the final stand between good and evil. And yeah, this book is so good. I loved it. Like, sure, it's fucking huge, but it was so worth it. So yeah, these are my Stephen King books. And then lastly, we have the Heartstopper graphic novels. So, yep. These are nice. There's nothing to really say about it, though. That's the thing. I think the back says, boy meets boy. Okay. Boy meets boy. Boys become friends. Boys fall in love. So much cat hair. Anyway, it's a wholesome, just, you know, feel good graphic novel. You sit, you read it in one sitting, you feel good. Nothing else to really say about it. So yeah, that's my bookshelf. It's getting kind of cluttered, especially like this shelf right here. So I think I'm gonna have to reorganize this. But, you know, for now, this is what it looks like. These are all the books that I own. That was my book tour. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Now I'm gonna go through my little like photos on the sides here. But top is Akatar, middle is Throne of Glass, and then at the bottom we have The Cruel Prince. There will be spoilers both in the quotes, in the photos, and in, you know, what I say. So you might want to skip to the timestamp on screen if you don't want any spoilers from these 3 series. And then when you skip to the timestamp, I'll be going through my sister's book collection. So yeah, skip to the timestamp on screen right now if you have not read these 3 and you care about spoilers. Starting with The Cruel Prince, I pretty much just added all the photos that like make me the happiest. And then the quotes that were most memorable to me. So yeah, here we have, you know, this is the Wicked King fan art. And then I really like this fan art of Jude. This is the best card in fan art, hands down. You can't convince me otherwise. I love this drawing of the 2 of them, Jude and Carden. This is really good Jude Carden fan art as well. I love this. I love the vibe as well. I like the whole aesthetic. And then of course you have this one, Sweet Jude, you are my dearest punishment. Yeah, here we also have a little, this is one of the letters that Carden sends when she's exiled in the mortal world. This felt like a little tribute to the first book when Jude comes across that note in, I think it was in the Alice in Wonderland book, and it was just Jude written over and over and over and over again, and eventually it looks like Carden like just like snaps his pen and there's like ink everywhere. And that's like, I don't know, that's like a really important moment in the first book if you ask me. So when you see the Jude again, but then it ends with please Jude because he misses her. Oh my god, I never cried. I didn't cry at all during the 3 books or the How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. Never cried. But when I went through the letters, I did cry. I cried so hard. So I kind of wanted to add that I can't remember exactly how it goes, but basically the come home and shout at me, come home and blah blah blah. Yeah. And yeah, here are some of the best quotes. Oh shit. This was the first quote I ever saved. And it's Jude saying, if I cannot be better than them, I will become so much worse. So yeah, we love a morally gray main character. Kiss me again, he says, drunk and foolish. Kiss me until I am sick of it. Loved that moment. By you, I am forever undone. And then this was the moment that had me squealing. Like, I was actually making noise. And I think I had to cover like my mouth with my pillow or something because like I was losing my mind. This was the moment that like actually had me like gasping for air. Most of all, I hate you because I think of you often It's disgusting. I can't stop. Best moment. Best moment. Anyway, now over to Throne of Glass. Of course, we have some Dorian fan art up here because he was my favorite character. He was like the love of my life for the longest time. I spoke about him for like 6 months straight. So yeah, this is the best fan art of him, definitely. Here we have some Aelin, more Dorian, but that's the best fan art, definitely. Here, this looks like a little like terracing place. That's why I saved it. And then here we also have more Aelin, and then you have little Rowan up there. Aelin and Rowan again. I love this fan art. Oh my god. Wait. It looks so good. More Aelin. Oh my god. So badass. I love it. And then this is the only fan art of Rowan that I've actually liked, because Rowan fan art just does not look good to me. Actually, like book boy fan art in general, I just don't really like. I like it when it's more semi-realistic. I don't, because the majority of fan art that I see of like book boys is like really realistic, and I don't like that. Anyway, here's Aelin and Rowan, and then here's Aelin and Rowan again, and then here's all of them together. Chaol, Rowan, Aelin, Dorian, Manon. I know it's technically like I can't remember how to pronounce it. It's French at least, and we're all pronouncing it wrong, but I'm not gonna stop. It's Manon to me. But anyway, this is a quote from Kingdom of Ash. So brow to brow and soul to soul, they stood there amid the bitter wind and lashing waves. It really struck something in me. The same as we fight as one, we die as one. Oh my god, the fucking war. Oh, the battles in Kingdom of Ash is so good. And of course, I had to have You Do Not Yield. And then I have My Name is Sam Cortland, and I Will Not Be Afraid. But really, I thought of this after I'd already printed this out, but I should have had, his name was Sam Cortland, and he was never afraid. This book did so much emotional damage to me. Holy shit. I miss Sam. Sam and Celaena were soulmates. You cannot tell me otherwise. Like, Aelin belongs with Rowan, but the Celaena phase of her life, you cannot tell me that she didn't belong with Sam, because she fucking did. And Celaena, since that part of her is, I see that part of her as dead, so I like to believe that Sam and Celaena are kind of sort of together again, since she let that part of herself die. So to me, that means that Celaena and Sam are together again. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. And then this is the quote that I like the most. I've never heard anyone mention it, but it meant the most to me. It was the song of Eelway, and the song of Fenharrow, and Melisande, and Parison, each nation that had people in those labor camps. And finally, not for pomp or triumph, but to mourn what they had become, they played the song of Adarlan. This meant so much to me. This was at the very end of Heir of Fire, I believe. And yeah, because, I mean, that, like, theater or whatever, where Celaena used to go to listen to music, like the orchestra, it meant so much to her in Assassin's Blade. And, like, music is such a big part of her. So, and not only that, but in all those first books, Celaena, or Aelin, is talking about how much she wants to, she wants to save all the slaves, because, she was one herself. And then, they were all slaughtered. She never got the chance to save them. And then, the theater or whatever, played, they did this. King was not happy, and then, I think they, like, burnt down the building and killed everyone who was involved. So that whole, I was crying so hard during all that, because and how it affected Aelin when she found out about the labor camps. This book, or this series, is so good. That's why this is my favorite. This is my absolute favorite. And then to the top, we have A Court of Thorns and Roses. Here we have some Rhys and Feyre. I like that fan art. Here's Feyre with the cereal. Here's the little aesthetic thing for the Night Court, and there's another one up here as well, because I think they look very nice. Here is the only fan art of Rhys I have ever liked. The only one out of all of them. Because, I don't know. It's just the only one that I've ever liked. Then here, of course, we have Nesta and Cassian, because they are low-key the best part of ACOTAR, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Nesta is the best. She is much better than Feyre. And if you think otherwise, you are welcome to come at me. I am willing to, like, have a fist fight over this, if you guys want. I stand by it. Nesta is the best character, the absolute best character, and her relationship with Cassian is much better than Feyre and Rhys because they got boring after A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm sorry. The truth hurts, doesn't it? Anyway, so yeah, let's go through the quotes. This one, Moore said, "I was a dreamer born into the court of nightmares, so I got out." Then up here, Amren said this to Nesta, "When you erupt, girl, make sure it is felt across worlds." And then here, this is the quote that everyone knows: "To the people who look at the stars and wish, Rhys. To the stars who listen, and the dreams that are answered." And then, there you are. I've been looking for you. Of course, which has no meaning until you've read all the books, and then you're like, oh my god. Oh my god, so if I ever reread these books, which I definitely will at some point, I will definitely, like, cry a little bit when Rhys first shows up and he says that. When, you know, we know the meaning now. So, yeah. There's my little tribute to my 3 favorite books, or series. And this is my sister's bookshelf. It's color-coded, as you can see, and it looks really nice. She's even decorated it, and it smells really good as well because she has like 4 scented candles around. So yeah, let's start at the top shelf. Here we have a little Harry Potter. This is the entire Sherlock Holmes collection. It's massive. Oh, by the way, I have to kind of like speed run this because this video is long enough as it is. Plus, I haven't read the majority of the books here, so it's not really that much to say about it anyway. Here's a book my sister got from one of her friends, Infinity Sun. We don't know anything about it. Here's Verity. I have this book as well, but she wanted to have a copy of for herself. Book of Night. This is by the same author that wrote The Cruel Prince. And then here we have the Grishaverse, King of Scars, Crooked Kingdom, Six of Crows, and then Rule of Wolves over here. This is all in the same universe. But before you read them, you should really start on the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So yeah, read these 3 books first. 1, 2, where's the third one? Oh, yeah, here's the third one. And then you could jump to Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and then so on. That's the Grishaverse for you. Here she has the From Blood and Ash, the first book, and I think there's like 4 books in the series or something. Here's one of them, and there's another one somewhere. Daughter of the Pirate King. This, oh gosh, is by the same author that wrote The Shadows Between Us. So I'm definitely excited to read this one. The Night Circus. This one looks pretty nice as well. Here's the first Raven Boys. And yeah, I'm excited to read this one. Wait. If you kiss your true love, he will die. Boom. Here is Ruin and Rising, the 3rd in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Hello. The Silent Patient. I'm actually really excited to read this one. I believe it's just like thriller and mystery and stuff, and it's about this patient who, I think, okay, from what I remember from the synopsis, it's about this woman who is completely normal, and then one day she shoots her husband like 13 times or something, and then she never speaks again, and they're trying to figure out why. I don't remember how many times she shot him, but oh, okay. Blah blah blah. Seemingly perfect life until one day 6 years ago when she shot her husband in the head 5 times. Since then, she hasn't spoken a single word. It's time to find out why. So yeah, I'm actually really intrigued. Here is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, the same author that wrote The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I know that she likes to write a lot of like dark stuff, more like villainy stuff, so hopefully, you know, that's what this is. Here is Crescent City. Look at how beautiful this is. It is so beautiful. The only Sarah J. Maas books that I haven't read yet, the Crescent City series, but definitely have to get to that soon. It's enormous though, which is why I'm procrastinating it. Anyway, here is one of the From Blood and Ash books. And then here are 2 Brandon Sanderson books. The Way of Kings. Don't know anything about it, but, you know, fantasy. I've heard that he writes a lot of good fantasy books, so. Yeah, this was definitely a shelf with a lot of fantasy. And the next shelf, this is my personal favorite shelf because it, like, looks really nice. Starting over here. Chain of Gold. Oh, shit. This is in the Shadowhunters universe. Oh, it's so beautiful. Second one is Terms and Conditions, which is the second book of Fine Print. That's what it is. Siege and Storm, second book in the oh my gosh, Shadow and Bone trilogy. Here we have Unite Me and Ignite Me. This is in the Shatter Me series. I have actually read the first half of the Shatter Me series, and it's kind of difficult to explain when the books aren't like lined up in order. They're kind of like all over the place. But basically, there are 2 trilogies in this series. So the 6 books, but you can kind of divide them up into 2 separate trilogies. And then there's 3 of these like tiny books. So first, you read Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and then Ignite Me. Actually, fuck, I already fucked it up. You read Shatter Me, then you read the first half of Unite Me, and then Unravel Me, and then you finish Unite Me. Then you read Ignite Me, and then you're pretty much done with the first half. And then, oh, I can't remember what the other books are called, but the first one is at least Restore Me. And then you read the first half of this book, Find Me. And then you read, oh, I can't remember what the other books are called. And then it's either Defy Me or Imagine Me. I'm not sure which one is book 5 and 6, but one of them is the other. And fuck, this is too difficult to explain. But it's basically a book, half of the tiny book, new book, rest of the tiny book, and then book. And then you jump to the second series and it's book, half of the tiny book, book, other half of the tiny book, book, and then a tiny book. Believe Me, I think it's called. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. This is like the epilogue. So yeah, it's kind of confusing. Just try to find some list online, then Google the order if you guys are interested. So yeah, the Shatter Me books are the only books that my sister owned that I've actually read, I believe. And I really enjoyed it. I'm currently working on the second series right now, but at least the first one is so good. It's dystopian. It's about this girl who's locked up because she has this power, or she would definitely consider it a curse. And it's that her touch harms or kills, so she can't be touched by anyone. And yeah, enemies to lovers. The only complaint is that you have to get through the Adam phase. So when you start reading it, don't worry. We all hate Adam. You gotta just get over that hump. You gotta get to the Aaron Warner stuff, and then it's just smooth sailing, okay? But like the end of Shatter Me and then the beginning of Unravel Me, kind of tough just because we all fucking hate Adam. Don't worry, you're not alone. We all hate him. But don't worry, it's so fucking worth it, because the second half of Unravel Me and then Ignite Me, oh my god. And then these in-between books are told from different perspectives, so that's more of a reason to read it. Next up is November 9. Here's one of the ugly covers. I know my sister actually has she has 2 editions of November 9, so we'll see the other one eventually, going through this shelf. This is a Colleen Hoover book. I've not read it, but I know that it's about these 2 people that meet every year on November 9 for whatever reason. That's literally all I know. But you know, it's Colleen Hoover, so it's probably romance with a touch of, you know, sad. Here is the deal. This is a spicy book. That's all I know about it. Oh, I tend to collect more fantasy books, while my sister tends to collect more contemporary romance, like spicy books, you know, stuff like that. And I'm more strictly romance. I collect pretty much mostly just fantasy. Anyway, next up is To Kill a Kingdom. This was like a spontaneous purchase. She found Girl with No Soul, and it looked interesting, so she got it. Don't know anything about it, but it sounds awesome. And then The Wicked King. I've gone through the Cruel Prince series, so no need to stop up on that. The Bane Chronicles. This is also that and Chain of Iron. These are in the Shadowhunters universe. Shadow and Bone, Thrawn, some kind of Star Wars book, because she's really into Star Wars right now. Twisted Games, and Yeah, Twisted Games and Twisted Hate. That's all in the Twisted series. Romance, spicy. Cruel Prince, The Song of Achilles. Some kind of like mythology book. Apparently very sad. Twisted Love, again in the Twisted series. Queen of Nothing in the Cruel Prince, or the Folk of the Air series. Confess by Colleen Hoover. This is a Colleen Hoover book that I'm actually kind of excited to read, because I think it's about this artist who draws, or like people come to him to confess things, and then he like kind of uses it in his art somehow. I don't fucking know. That's what I've gathered, at least, and I don't gather a lot from different books, so. Yeah, You and Me on Vacation. This is a romance book. It Ends With Us. I talked about this in one of my videos. All Your Perfects. This is another Colleen Hoover book. Don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about most of these books, to be honest. Believe Me. This is in the Shatter Me series, like I've already said, where the crawdads sing. Don't know anything about that. Spanish Love Deception. This is romance, and it's enemies to lovers and slow burn. So this is actually the only contemporary romance that I'm really looking forward to. Because for me, especially if the plot is pretty much just romance, it has to be enemies to lovers through and through. Like, I want them pining, I want them, I want the banter, and I want it to be slow burn. I don't want them together until, like, the end of the book. Because once they're together, I mean, what is there to keep reading for? I mean, that's what I'm reading for, you know? So then, what more is there to read? So yeah, people complain about it being too slow. I know not everyone is into the whole slow burn thing. I think I'm gonna fucking love it because it's slow burn, but you know, if you want them to end up together early on, maybe it'll be a little slow for you, especially since it is a bigger book. Next, shelf. In the corner here we have The Unhoneymooners, The Kiss Quotient, Daisy Jones and the Six. These are both romance. I know this one at least is enemies to lovers, so that's kind of interesting. This is by the same author that wrote Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. All I know is that it's contemporary. The Priory of the Orange Tree, a really fucking massive fantasy book. She has Dune. I don't know why she would want to suffer through this, but you know, she has it. Find Me, which is in the Shatter Me series. The Jasmine Throne. I don't actually know anything about this, but it was either on sale or it was like trending, or I don't fucking know. It has good ratings, some good reads. And yeah, Legendborn. I have this book as well. We both got a copy of it because it looks really nice. We Hunt the Flame. I have a different cover of this. Wait, wrong book. Hunt the Flame. This is probably the like UK edition or something. Forging Silver into Stars. This is a spin-off to Curse Breakers. These Violent Delights. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. And ooh, this one had really cool first line. I know I haven't been going through first lines, but this one we kind of have to go through. If I can see, because it's so dark in here. In glittering Shanghai, a monster awakens. Boom. I'm actually really excited to read this, but I'm not sure I would want to read it until we have the second book. And she also has Dance of Thieves. I went through this in one of my videos. Shatter Me and Imagine Me. This is in the Shatter Me series. Already spoken about this. I really like Shatter Me. And then here is the boxed set for, oh, I can't remember what the series is called. It's in the Shadowhunters series, but this specific series has a name. But yeah, this is where you start with the Shadowhunters series, because it's this, and then it's those, like, Clockwork, Princess, Clockwork stuff. Infernal Devices, I think it's called. And then I think you can jump to Chain of Iron and Gold and stuff like that. I don't know. Google it to be sure. But this is at least where you start. Okay, final shelf. She has the second Crescent City book in the back here, which looks so nice. So excited to read that. Here, oh wait, Broken Bonds series, and they all look so nice. These are beautiful books, and they feel very nice as well. And I don't actually know anything about it. They're fantasy romance, I believe, and then they have extremely good ratings on Goodreads, like surprisingly good ratings. So I definitely really want to read those. And then we also have, or she also has What Lies Beyond the Veil, more fantasy. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, more fantasy. Touch of Darkness, spicy book. I think this is like a Hades and Persephone retelling. Then Pung 57, more spice. Oh, this is the other from Shadow and Bone book. The Fine Print, spicy. This is the first book to Terms and Conditions. Ugly Love. This is another Colleen Hoover book. My sister has read it, and she absolutely hated it. But, you know, I guess some people like it. Love Hypothesis. A fantasy book. One of the most known fantasy... did I just say fantasy? I meant romance. The Love Hypothesis. This is a romance book. One of the most loved romance books, actually. Unravel Me. This is in the Shatter Me series. Here's the other November 9 book. And then another book in the Shatter Me series. And then Colleen Hoover, Reminders of Him. I know it's very emotional. I don't know that much about it, but I'm actually really excited to read this. Wait, let me check out the first line. I debated to read this a few weeks ago, actually. It was between Verity and this. And I only chose Verity because it was smaller. There's a small wooden cross staked into the ground on the side of the road with the date of his death written on it. Already sounds really sad, but I think this will be a very good Colleen Hoover book. And then there's The House of the Cerulean Sea and Restore Me, again in the Shatter Me series. And then she has some books hidden back here. We Were Liars and Book Lovers, because they have ugly covers or covers that don't fit. So yeah, those are my sister's books. I've been focusing on the books in my own bookshelf to read through, so I haven't read through very many of these. I only read Shatter Me because me and my sister had a book swap. But yeah, hopefully I'll get to at least a few of these over the summer. I'm definitely hoping to get through Crescent City soon because they're the only Sarah J. Maas books that I haven't read, and I need to. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll probably have to update you guys with the new book tour in like a year or something with all the new books that both me and my sister buy. So yeah, I'll see you guys next Sunday.